Hey, wild hearts and heretics. I was going to call you heretics today and got stumbled up. Welcome back to Alchemy. And today we are going to get raw and real on the body as oracle. Your body knows before you do. We are going to the deeper somatics and marrow of our bones as we descent through this year. And I want to strip it back and make it so simple, so palatable, but also edgy, and really bring back the joyful playfulness in getting to know yourself again, in truly finding yourself as beautiful artwork and getting into the intricacies of who you are in your body so that you don't feel like you're constantly fixing yourself and attacking yourself, but you're actually in union with yourself and feeling the eroticism and aliveness in that. So I want to share this deeper somatic work with you and go into the energetics of it as well as the physicalities. Because your body whispered before you said yes. Your body already said yes to this episode before you're here listening to me. Your body has tightened previously before you stayed. Your body knew before your brain made it make sense. And this is the homecoming. This is the body as oracle, intuition as guide. This is self-sovereignty over external pulling or pressure that I want to get us back in alignment with. I'm going to go into many things today, and I do have some notes that I will try and remember because I'm going to go into a little bit of science and heady things as well. I want to really highlight how important it is to actually go into and track your micro contractions, like your pelvic bracing as a woman, your throat suppression, how that feels, how that shows up for you. And I also want to go into that subtle feeling that you sometimes cannot quite grasp, but it's there. You can't name it. You can't logically get it. And why we as women override our own intuition and this deeper gnosis within us. We've been conditioned to, we've been trained to. If you can't hear your body, you will keep confusing trauma bonds and misaligned relationships and misaligned people for desire, because desire is quite activating too. Right? Desire and holy hunger is yum, and activating the body can feel yum too if it's been very disconnected and numb. But your body is actually processing, and I learned this in my somatic attachment therapy training, that your body is processing about 11 million bytes of information per second. I'm going to say that again. Your body is processing 11 million bytes of information per second. And you're only actually aware of about 40 of them. Only 40. Consciously. And this is why we try and logic things away or explain things away. That's what we've been taught. But it's true that your nervous system, your body, your auric field, your energy body, as well as your physical body, like your organs, like everything inside you, your fascia, the waters of your being are constantly scanning for safety and threat. Constantly scanning for safety and threat. They're not scanning for pleasure and desire and joy. It's safety and threat. And things that pop up that actually we deem as unsafe will immediately go off as alarm bells within our body. All right, because the brain is wired for safety, 100%. And this goes even deeper into our endocrine system as women. We don't talk enough about how our endocrine system is linked to our nervous system. And again, a whole episode for a whole nother day. about how our endocrine system, our hypothalamus, our pituitary glands are all linked to the endocrine and the nervous system. And I want to share that because these are largely not, we don't have a lot of information about this in the medical world. We as women have not been put into the health system. It's mostly been around men's bodies because men's bodies are easier to track because they have a 24-hour hormonal cycle and women do not. Clearly, we have a 28-day hormonal cycle, give or take, and it is harder to track our hormones. So a lot of this, even our nervous system work, like a lot of the shit that we have been told is not even true for us as women. It's false. And I think we're just uncovering that now and really grasping that everything we logically read and think and consciously know is really a rouge, and we haven't even start to uncover the full depth of our human capacity and our womb bodies. I just went on a little tangent. I'm gonna go back to, I get so passionate and I track off, but our body is constantly scanning for this. I think heightened as a woman because we are womb beings, we are life bearers and protectors in this realm. Like our womb is designed for this. And so we are hyper aware and sensitive to our surroundings and our environment. And that comes from being a woman and being a protector and a nurturer and protecting and creating life. We can track facial micro expressions, vocal tone shifts, our pupil dilations, all of these things, and we are not even aware of it. The breathing rhythm of another person, the nervous system of another person, slight muscle tensions, scents and smells from people or from our environment. We track posture, micro pauses in speeches, holding, heart rate shifts. It's actually profound when you start to grasp that these subtle energetic changes, our body picks up and our body reads them long before our conscious mind catches up and actually sends this information to our brain. And it's so funny because we've been taught this top-down approach of mental mind, mental plane, and then tell your body this, but it's actually like totally bottom up. Your body actually sends more signals and more signs and picks up and reads more from the environment and everywhere you walk into and from people than your mind ever could. And this is your powerful neuroception. And not many people are talking about this. This is deep somatic cellular attunement. We are co-regulating beings. We are tribal beings. We are learned. We are deeply wired for that way of life. And we are isolated and feeling like we're constantly in survival because that's the way that we've been taught in this society. But this is actually your body doing its work. This is your amygdala and your vagus nerve doing their thing. And yeah, as women, we are hyper trained, hyper attuned to pick up these cues because our safety has always depended on it. Not only our safety, but our children's safety, being housed and homed in our beautiful womb for so long. And it is a huge bane in a lot of women's that I worked with connections that their partner is not attuned to them and can't pick up these like micro cues. And it's something that we naturally do. I'm just going to let that sit and percolate for a couple more seconds. And I want you to actually just feel that land in your body. Because if you are constantly relying on your mind and only your thoughts to decide whether something is safe or in alignment or good for you per se or healthy, you're missing almost everything else. And that is fucking wild. I'm going to say that again. If you are relying on your thoughts and your mind to decide whether something is safe or in alignment with you or in your highest good, You're missing almost everything else within the body. You're missing a whole landscape and a whole lot of knowledge that you can't conceptually grasp. And this is what it means about coming home to the body and letting the body lead, because the body does lead. Your body does lead, right? And there's this whole big thing about women just being feeling beings and erratic and all over the place. And it's like when you look into the polarity world that we're seeing in this day and age about men being leaders, men going first, and men, not apparently acting erratic or emotional, and you go into the fact that as women our neural perceptors are actually like highly attuned to pick up so many more things. That actually just blows my mind that we are living in this type of society, and we can actually see why we're in this type of survival strategy society, right? Because we have eroded feminine bodied intelligence. We have absolutely desecrated intuition. We have walked all over and abused the body. We're taught to do that. We're conditioned to do that. It's actually quite horrific when you think about it, because I actually truly believe that it is the most sacred part of being in this human life. Without being in body, there is no life. Now, I follow my body a lot. If my body tells me to get out of somewhere, I leave. If my body tells me to move, to do something, to not talk to someone, if my body tells me to hold my fucking tongue when I'm talking to somebody, I will do that. Because it's these, like, if you start to restructure the power dynamic within your body and grasp that your body is actually leading, then your mind kind of goes offline a little bit. Right? You're not really hyper aware logically tracking these millions of environmental factors and these like people, their tones shifting and they're shifting their breath, or when somebody's attention leaves their body, holy, my whole body feels that. And I actually track people's bodies through my own body. Right? You have to be so highly attuned to your own body, your own nervous system, your own micro contractions and expansions, that you feel somebody else's body through yours. And I know that sounds really weird. This is the way I do it. I'm sure other people do it a different way, but this is actually like a high level of attunement and co-regulation that a lot of people are not attuned to. And yes, sometimes it comes from a highly traumatic background and life and having to constantly scan for safety. And also, I believe it is a craft. I believe that we all have the power to do that, and it is an attunement that needs to be refined. Right? Because if you're constantly looking for safety and danger, then you are constantly going to be on high alert and not soften and open, right? If you're constantly tracking the inconsistencies in rhythms, you are not present in your own body. And if you're constantly looking for the next shoe to drop or waiting for the next shoe to drop, you're constantly bracing. You're not actually present and authentically relating in the very moment. And the only way you can be present and authentically relating truthfully from your own heart is through the presence of your own body. And I know that sounds so crazy, because you can be aware of somebody's body through your body, but the actual truth here is to not leave your body. And we've been taught a different way. I wanted to really grasp that this is a new concept for a lot of people. Right? And I want to say that, like, you're not sort of crazy for having this awareness. You're not, and even if you can't feel this yet, like even if you're a bit numb, disconnected, whatever, I've been there too. Like I've been highly numb and disconnected and disassociated from my body for many, many years. Like this is something that you can get back to. you can get back to the home within yourself. You can get back to being in attunement with your body and picking this up again. It's something it's not lost. It is just a reconnection that needs reweaving. And I love this because so many women gaslight themselves. And even in the spiritual communities, we gaslight this so much about, being chosen or being gifted or having this like hypersensitive awareness. I do believe there's levels and layers for sure, but I believe that this is part of us being a human being, and it's something that we forgot in the relational world. Right? And this is actually going to loop back to my previous podcast about trauma bonding and misaligned scenarios, places, people. I'm going to bridge it a bit, because the question we answered was, how do you tell? Like, how do you pick up that it's a trauma bond or a misaligned, unsafe environment / person, or if it's like a true yearning and desire and in alignment? And the absolute truth is your body detects instability and your mind constantly overrides it. The pattern repeats. And then what are women constantly told? And what are women constantly taught? I'm overthinking. You're overthinking. And I hate that. You're overthinking. And true, I do believe on one level and layer, we as women, we as people do overthink. We do use our minds too much. We do percolate too much and constantly want to, grasp every possible pathway, person, right? And I want to say that even though we do that and we do need to drop down, the thing is, you're not overthinking, you're under listening. You're under listening. You're under listening to the body. You're under listening to something that is intangible, right? You're sitting here writing a fucking pros and cons list when really you can just sit down and be with your body and listen. Rebuild that connection. Drop into this deeper, truly devotional element of the body. And I will tell you now that your whole life will change. Your whole life will change. You'll be trimming branches you didn't even know. Things will be exiting out of your life left, right, and center. And you'll be okay to let it go because you know that you have got this. You are here in your body. You are home. You are safe. You are sovereign. You've got you. Strong spine, soft belly. You've got that infrastructure of deliciousness within you, that erotic essence, that embodiment factor, and you will not be destabilized in it. There's this real link with the pelvis and the throat that, again, we're not talking about it enough. We don't talk about the slight pelvic contractions that happen when we're a no. We don't talk about the throat suppression, the shallow breath, and the subtle freeze states that we get in our pussy, in our womb, in our hips, these micro pings of knowing, and how it's deeply connected to our voices and speaking up. We've been trained to override these signals again and again and again, and we end up with these huge problematic things. Anxiety, gut issues, pelvic floor issues, sexual numbness, disconnection, deep-seated resentment, right? It's all of this purgy, like suffocation within our body that actually keeps us frozen and not reclaiming the truth of our full gnosis, our full truth, and liberating ourselves from our own cage. Like, the pelvic bowl is so yummy to drop into. Women that live from the pelvis and learn to live from the pelvis, they actually have this way of picking up these subtleties and reclaiming. And this is the way we should be. Like, even the way we walk as women now is so out of alignment. We don't even swing our hips anymore. And we're meant to be swinging our hips, right? Our body isn't this dramatic thing. It's highly, highly intelligent. And if you want to start to learn to listen to these subtleties, to learn to listen to the pelvis, learn to listen to the hips, learn to listen before the rupture and the destabilization, right? You don't have to keep healing the same wound. You have to learn how to move a new way. You have to learn how to move from the hips, from the pelvis, from the body. And this takes time and slowness and softness. And again, haven't seen this in the spiritual community, in the healing community, has this hyperfixation of these deep, like erratic, like hyper nervous system states. Again, the dopamine culture we're in, we see this like purgy, like over the top performance basically of what it is to be healing, to be whole, to return home. And it can be soft, it can be slow, and it really is about turning back inwards and listening to these micro cues, right? And not trying to logicalize it. And this is what I see a lot in my space too. We know something in the body, we hear something, it hits, it lands, the intuition, like we know, and straight away pop up into the head and try to logic it. It doesn't make sense. Oh, I know this, or I said this, or this, it just doesn't feel right, but that doesn't make sense. And we try and logicalize it away. And it's like we need to strip that back and simplify, because it can be so simple. It can be so simple. And this is the work that I do and I offer. And this is my calling, my passion, my love, my fire. And if you are wanting to dive deeper into this, you can work with me. My mentorship spaces are open. It's a deep excavation. It is a minimum 3-month space. All the details can be found in the links below. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I only hold very minimal space because this is deep pattern and somatic rewiring. And so I hold minimal spaces and minimal mentorships, and we go soft and slow and relearn and re-listen to the body and shift into remembrance instead of percolating on the cycles that we are attached to. I also have a few other offers, and you can find them below. The honeypot, self-paced, go as you flow, my loves, getting into the pelvis, the pussy, the hips. The honeypot is so yum. I have such incredible feedback for that. You can also support my work by buying me a coffee, and reach out to me anytime to connect. Let me know what landed, share, like, comment, and really bump the numbers up. I'm really struggling in the field of getting my voice out there with social media, but I'm dedicated to showing up, to doing this work, and to bring you my voice as a way for you to, really grasp onto these little nuanced textures and somatic ways of being, to live a truly embodied, feral, and free life. See you next time, my loves. Enjoy. Lots of love.